Hello everyone, how you doing? And you're very welcome to this week's Rugby View with myself, Aidan and Raftery. And of course, about to talk about all things rugby with us, we have Adrian Leddy from Craig's Rugby Club. Hello Adrian, how are you? Are you well?
Good afternoon, Aidan. All good, yeah.
No, that's good, that's good. And I suppose we start off as we always do with Craig's Rugby, and of course we start off with the mini rugby section, and of course that's really in action now. Again, it's starting to fly with I suppose blitzes and training and different things like that, and of course it's now kind of in national schools as well, isn't it? The mini rugby to kind of get the kids in at that early age as well.
It really has taken off, Aidan. The biggest problem is to have enough of pitches, have enough of coaches, and all. And every club I'm talking to, they have been run over with the amount of young boys and girls that wants to take up rugby this year. Maybe it's like when Wimbledon is on, everybody wants to take up a tennis racket. Maybe it was when the World Cup was on, and the weather reasonably mild, even though it might be wet, but it's mild. That a lot of young boys and girls just want to get out there and take up a rugby ball. But it's great. It's great at the present time, and we have had massive numbers. As you rightly says there, the blitzes have started. We had the visit of Claremorris last weekend. They brought a great crowd of young boys and girls to the club, and it was a very enjoyable morning now with them in Craigs. And then the under 12s boys and girls, they departed from after playing in the blitz in the morning. They departed for the sports ground then that they were on show with a game at half time, the boys and girls, and again when in the sports ground when Connacht at halftime when Connacht and Glasgow game was on. So it was a great occasion for them, and also at halftime you had the Connacht winners of the under 18 Interpro, the boys, and yet also the girls under 18s. They won all their games in the under 18s as well. So it was great for our boys and girls to meet their under 18 counterparts, and maybe someday that they will take that road. Even like we had under 16 uh, blitz for Connacht in the club there on Wednesday, and there was a great turnout of young players, and Craig's had 7 or 8 on one of the teams. So this is it. That there's a great opportunity for these young players, and to get that opportunity to play on the 4G pitch in the sports ground, it was absolutely fantastic. And to have a major crowd there watching them, and the parents and all was there. They met the Connacht players after the game. There was great excitement, especially with the Halloween and face painting and all sorts going on. So it was a great day out, and having talked to quite a lot of the parents, they really enjoyed it, and they thanked us for all the work that we're doing in Craigs, and for putting on the show in the sports ground as well.
And of course, look, it all starts with the mini rugby, and who knows where, as the years go on, where it takes them. But it's like any player that makes the Ireland team, or that makes their interprovincial team, or no matter how high they got on, or in rugby, they always turn around and they always remember the club that it started off, and that's like be it Craig's, Buccaneers, whatever, and that's nice as well. And then sometimes when they some of the players, or most of the players I suppose, when they retire, then they give back to the clubs, and they go back to coaching at the clubs at various different ages. So it's great to see them giving back as well, and I suppose that's the way it should be. But it's a testament to I suppose those players appreciation for what was done for them. It's nice that they have that in them, that they want to give back, and that's a great thing to see.
All is, yeah, like when their own sons and daughters come along and that there too, a lot of parents that would have played rugby in Craig's would, as you say, in rightly, they come back and get involved in the club, and we're always open to parents getting involved, and no better place to get involved now with the kind of numbers that we have. We need as many parents to help out on Saturday mornings as possible, because this weekend alone we have up to 200 young boys and girls coming from Sligo for their blitz in Craigs, and like where you have nearly up to 400 young boys and girls in Craigs. It takes a lot of handling, working out pitches, getting them, getting them organised into games and getting referees and so on. So there's a lot of work in it. So we welcome all the help and that we can get on a Saturday morning, and it'll be all the more enjoyable for their young boys and girls if they give a hand out themselves as well.
And of course, the parents get to meet other parents as well, and that's the social aspect for the parents as well as the kids, which is great.
Oh, absolutely. They can chat away there. It's not a very high powered thing. It's at this stage it's all for the enjoyment of their sons or daughters. So we like to be able to add to the enjoyment as much as possible, and to see that they're all looked after, and it's a great opportunity for parents to meet up and to meet new people from the different parts of the Craig's catchment area that they mightn't have known before. So, and apart from they're going to maybe different schools around the area, and that's it's lovely to see them all there on a Saturday morning.
And of course, I touched on it there earlier on, and you just mentioned it there again. That's a key component to the rugby family as well. Is the actual schools for because kids that might be that are going to school, they might think about their club. They just kind of like to play it in school or whatever, and then a coach going from Craig's Rugby Club going into the schools. It's good for the kids to see that they'll be invited to all these things, and that's kind of where it starts at that age, which is great. And I suppose that takes us on to the underage.
The point that you're making there is great. The schools are a huge asset to Craig's Rugby Club, and this is the reason that we put in so much effort and into the schools, and to have a lot of the schools in the catchment area playing rugby. They're entered into school competitions. A lot of the school competitions are running side by side. Midweek games are on, and also you have it with the girls in the convent, and it's great to have it for both boys and girls, and then they're all mixing. Like we had games there between the schools in Ballygar and Craig's there only during the week, and it's all this type of interaction is absolutely fantastic, and it's a great benefit to the club. And since we got a lot of the schools involved and gone into the schools, they're the backbone of the first team at the moment. That a lot of the players have come through from the local schools, and it's lovely to see that it has, and also it has improved the standard of rugby as well.
That's great, yeah, and of course, like I was just saying there as well, the underage structure, that's been busy as well over the weekend in Craig's Rugby Club.
Yeah, you have a lot. You have a lot of youth games going on, Aidan, at the present time. It's when you start off at under 13 with youths, and you have every age group up within Craig's up to 18. Then at that stage, so like it's a lot of games, a lot of players involved, and a lot of coaches again involved. And thanks to all the coaches and management for organising all these particular teams, and they do a great job at it. They're all very enthusiastic for their particular team, and they make the effort travel to Galway, Ballina, Connemara, Carrick-on-Shannon, Sligo, all the different parts to play games on a Saturday or a Sunday. So it's a fair commitment. It's like you can take it that anyone that takes it on, that their whole Saturday or Sunday is gone when they're away with a particular team, and then to give 1 or 2 nights a week to youth training as well. So there's a lot of work in it, but the club gets the benefits of it. The young boys and girls gets the benefit of it as well. So now that we have a women's senior team up and running, it's just another extra team there that we have to have enough of manpower to look after. So all is good with the numbers involved in playing the game at the present time.
And of course, with the, I suppose, first and foremost at underage level and at youth level, and indeed at mini rugby level, it's all about having it enjoyable, but being enjoyable for the kids. But to be fair, like when you look over the last couple of years, and this season and probably the season ahead, how successful the underage teams are, and they're going well again this season as well. The underage teams are doing well and winning matches as well. So that's an extra bonus for the kids. Obviously, as I said, first and foremost, it's about enjoying it. And then the bonus is when they win matches.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But as you say, it's at mini rugby and youth level, it's all about enjoyment, really, and getting out there, and meeting friends and, getting involved. And it's a great way, that in society, all sports and that there, and is good for young boys and girls, and it keeps them out of trouble and keeps them involved, and it does develop them for life in relation to meeting people, dealing with winning and losing and so on. Like it's a fantastic for education for boys and girls sport is.
Yeah, and of course, I suppose we're dealing with authority as well, as in the authority from the ref, as in him applying the rules. That's kind of another kind of skill, I suppose. Maybe that people might realize, or it's kind of like an undercurrent there that kind of goes unnoticed. But it is true though. They, through dealing with referees and referees dealing with the players, it is a key skill in like dealing how to take authority and how to respect people in authority as well, which is essential too.
All right, so yeah, that is correct, Aidan, and particularly in rugby. Rugby is very, very strict and has a good record in this particular field of making sure that the discipline and the respect for their coaches, for their management, for the referees, for the club, and so on. Like and even getting down to Aidan, making sure that the dressing room that they go into is left the same way as they went into it, that they clean up and that afterwards, and all various little disciplines that they have to do, and it's all good education for them for life going down the road.
And of course, that brings us on to the first and seconds team, and it's good to see the lads getting back and really getting into it in earnest now into the season as well.
Yeah, like there's been a couple of league games and that they're played. Last weekend was a free weekend for club rugby, both at club at Connacht level and at AIL level. That it was agreed at the beginning of the year. And once the final for the World Cup the date was out, that there'd be no rugby on that particular weekend. So no senior rugby on that weekend. So our first and second team had a break, but they developed it into kind of a training weekend as well, and a lot of training going on during the week, both for the first and seconds. At the present time, both of them have big games coming up. Craig's first team, they have no game this weekend, but they're waiting on a big game against Connemara on Saturday week, or Saturday or Sunday week. So that's going to be a big game of the season. That game is going to be in Craig's, and one game that we always look forward to. We hold Connemara in very high respect, and we look forward to that game. So there's a good lot of rugby yet to be played, and we're just in the middle of the first part of the season this side of Christmas, and to try and get a number of victories under your belt, both at first and seconds in the league, would be very helpful.
That's it, and I suppose that takes us on now to AIL, the teams that are involved from around Connacht that are playing in the AIL, the likes of Buccaneers, I suppose, Carrick Rugby Club, Sligo, Galwegians, teams like that. How have things been going on at that level?
Well, as I said, they're trying to strengthen their squads as much as possible. Buccaneers have hit a rocky road, having lost the first 3 games, and they have a big game coming up, a home game coming up this weekend, and they're honouring dinner beforehand for their great stalwart, Irish stalwart that got his cap there only recently for a game that he played against Argentina, and he was never given his cap, but he was awarded his cap in Dublin at the English game, and Buccaneers is going to honour him on this Saturday in the club. And Leo Galvin has been a great stalwart for rugby. He has been president of the Connacht Rugby, represented Connacht Rugby for, let's say, 13, 14 years at IRFU level. He's been one of the most respected people within Connacht and within Irish rugby, and it's great to see him being honoured in this way. And Buccaneers, let's hope that they will get back on track and get a win under their belt. Their under 20s is going on well, and other teams in the club. Sligo going well. They lost their last game, but they're up near the top of the table, and similar with Galwegians and Corinthians. Corinthians are showing very well at the present time. Ballina struggling no more than Buccaneers in the AIL, so we'd like to see Ballina getting a few points on the board as well. Carrick and Shannon, they're hoping to get a game out this weekend. They had no game last weekend either, and get back on track in the Connacht League. So yeah, all is good within all the teams, and again, all these clubs have youth teams, women's teams, and we're all coming up against one another, and it's the good comradeship and players that coaches and all that would have played against. They're meeting up on the sideline now and have their sons and daughters and that they're playing. So there's a bit of banter that way, and it's a very healthy situation as well. So it's good to have that with your neighbouring clubs when you meet up.
That's it, and that takes us on to Connacht then, and a great win for Connacht over Glasgow Warriors at the weekend, and that's a great start to the season for them.
Yeah, 2 great wins, two midday fixtures on the last 2 Saturdays in the sports ground. We're fortunate enough this season that we've got 3 home fixtures to start the season off. We had the win first victory in the OC against Ospreys, and then a fantastic win against Glasgow. Glasgow had a lot of their internationals back. It was a very strong Glasgow team. They already had defeated Leinster the previous week, so it was great to get a win over Glasgow in the sports ground. We played exceptionally well during the game, both forwards and backs. It was a high scoring game, and at the same time, we'd probably have to tighten up our defence now going into this weekend. Again, the game is on this Saturday evening at 7:30 in the sports ground, and we against our own province, Ulster. So Ulster have had a few new signings during the year, and some of them will be starting against Connacht. So I think I'm not sure that there's any internationals back for Ulster, but Connacht won't have any internationals back for this Saturday. But again, we our in the season last year we defeated Ulster up in Ravenhill in Belfast in Kingspan Stadium, and we'll hope that we'll continue that way over Ulster and have another win, and that would be three. To be great to get 3 home wins in the sports ground for the beginning of the season.
That's it. And I suppose when you looking at the team, it was a very interesting team selection as well. But I suppose as Rosfm men, I suppose the most pleasing thing was to see Dennis Buckley start being in the team as well and being involved once again, because he was out long term. So it's good to see him back on the pitch again.
Yeah, absolutely. Dennis is one of our own in Craig's and Roscommon, and it's lovely to see Dennis and the Moran brothers, and Jack was out injured. Hopefully, the Jack will be back now for the Ulster game. He got a facial injury, so I'm told that he's well on the way to recovery, and hope that he'll be fine for this Saturday. That's the situation that you will have knocks at this time of the season, and you'll be minus certain players. But in fairness, that they stuck in very well, and a number of other players came up to the mark last Saturday, and it was a great honour that across the way in Paris that we had a Connacht player in Bunyanki up for nomination for World Cup Player of the Year. Now he didn't make it, but he was in the top 3 nominations. So it was a great honour for Bundy and his wife to be present at the big function in Paris. And it was nice that it wasn't that Andy Farrell was named the World Coach of the Year. So a great tribute to Andy and the great work that he is doing at national level, and with bringing players in from the various provinces and developing them there. Like a lot of the players come back better players to the province, having been with the national side.
And of course, that brings us on to the World Cup final itself, which was a tough physical encounter, which I suppose when you see the build of these two teams, South Africa and New Zealand All Blacks, it was kind of expected. But I suppose before we go on to that, we have to mention Wayne Barnes refereed his last match there, and that was the World Cup final. What a way to go out to hang up your whistle, as it said on RT there today. But look, he went out on a high, but he was one of the top referees in the game as well at international level.
Yeah. Wayne Barnes, I know him personally. I've met him on a number of occasions. He's one of the top World Cup referees. We mightn't always in Ireland have seen eye to eye with him in some of the decisions makings, but that's neither has the All Blacks this time. They have questioned a number of his decisions as well. So that's the thing with referees. You don't always get it right. They have a lot of help now with playbacks and TMO and so on, in comparison to when he started off refereeing first. But Wayne has stood the test of time, and it was a great honour for him to referee a World Cup final in Paris. And yeah, like as I said, he will be remembered, all because refereeing is a thankless job, and we're always looking for referees, and there'll be no game at any sport unless you have a referee. So it's a great honor for anybody to take up the whistle, and that's why rugby respect the referees so much, that they're the people in control, and we have that utmost respect for all referees, and the same will go for Wayne Barnes. Absolutely, you said, Aidan, about the final. It was absolutely a fantastic final. Very, very tough, very, very physical, very. It was down to the wire. It was only, again, a 1-point game. South Africa held out for the whole second half. They didn't put up their 12 points in the first half. From penalties. They brought back Pollard as their kicker. He hit every penalty he got, and they were in, nearly had a try, 2 tries nearly after half time. But they, All Blacks, all credit to them. They lost a man he threw a red card early in the game, their captain. It was a big loss, but they didn't lie down under it. They came back very strong at South Africa and brought the game back to a 1-point game. And they had a few shots for a penalty and a conversion. And as I say, with a little bit more luck, they might have pulled it off. But we could say the same about Ireland against the All Blacks as well. So there wasn't a lot in between the top 4 teams in particular, and the 2 teams in the final of South Africa, New Zealand, France, and ourselves, Ireland. There's very little, as it showed on the scoreboard. There's very little between them particular 4 teams, and they were the top 4 teams of the championship. I know the semi-finals didn't work out that way, but the quarterfinals were really the semi-finals, and they were 2 fantastic games as well. So it had been a great World Cup. There has been huge interest in it, huge travelling Irish support over to it. A lot of people that would never have been maybe even at a club game went over to support Ireland for the weekend, and it was amazing that boys and girls and that there. I had my own youngest daughter travelled over with another friend from Glasgow for the final, and it was just it just gripped everybody, and it gripped everybody at home here as well. With people watching the games in the evening, it was nicely timed on Saturday evenings at 8 o'clock for most people was able to get in and watch them. So next year, then in 4 years' time, it'll be further away, and it'll be more difficult to get for Irish supporters when it's in Australia. But needless to say, there's a lot of Irish in Australia, and probably there's a lot of houses that will be full up with Irish supporters as well travelling. So again, hopefully I'm around 4 years' time, Aidan, and I'd really look forward to travelling to the next World Cup in 4 years' time in Australia.
Fingers crossed. And I suppose really when you overall, when you analyse the game, I suppose really the key things were the winning and losing was I suppose that the key for South Africa was that they did get a good start to the game, and they built on that. They took advantage of that. From a New Zealand point of view, I suppose the sending off of the New Zealand player didn't help them, and that was always going to put them on the back foot.
Yeah, it's an issue that World Rugby is going to have to look at, because to play with 14 men for the whole game is it gives the opposition team an unfair advantage, and maybe there's some way that they could substitute in a person at some stage back into the game after 10 minutes, 15 minutes or whatever, not to allow the game be played out. I know the game was played at 14 each for some time, for 2 10-minute periods, because South Africa suffered two yellow cards as well, where they would be down to 14 men for 20 minutes of the second half. So, but again, that's for another day. It's for World Cup has looked at it. They've looked at a number of things. They know they have got it wrong in relation to the draw. That they made the draw too early after the last World Cup. They now are going to delay the draw until the week before, the year beforehand, and that will bring in the foreign teams at that particular stage. They also are adding 4 more teams, and that they're to the competition. So, it will be, the great surprise of the tournament was, say, Portugal, like basically an amateur side, and they played lovely rugby, and it's great to see them getting a win over Fiji, and they were a pleasure to watch, and it shows that some of the weaker countries with a bit more support, that they could get there. I suppose the two disappointing teams were Italy, that they showed so poorly in the World Cup, and also Australia. There were two sides that really didn't perform in the World Cup, and that's the way it goes. There's some teams that come good, and other teams they just don't make it at the time. So we have had a few new appointments there that was announced at IRFU level. You had David Humphreys. He was a great Irish player, Ulster player. He's coming in place of David Nafora, and it's a very important position. David Nafora would be responsible for sort of overseeing all the professional game, and he'd be on the professional board, and seeing that players, maybe that if there's a surplus in Leinster or wherever, that he would move players. He mightn't have been the most popular for some of the decisions that he made, but you had to make them for the good of rugby, and he moved players from Leinster to Munster to Connacht to Ulster, and so around. So that appointment, like David was a very good appointment. He done the job extremely well, and I've no doubt that David Humphreys, with his experience in business, and he's been involved in a similar role with cricket in England, that he will perform very well in that particular role, and we look forward to working with David Humphreys.
That's it, and we'd like to wish him all the best in his new role. So listen, thanks very much, Adrian, for taking the time to do for doing Rugby View with us, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
Thank you very much, Aidan.
No problem. Thanks very much. And that was Adrian, Leddy, and myself talking about all things rugby.